So now the U.S. administration is calling for a pause, and they're making clear they don't mean a ceasefire. They mean a pause, which is a semantic difference, as a National Review has pointed out. Biden's support for Israel hits its limit. The support was great, but the Democratic Party is not particularly committed, and there's a great piece on this. The Democrats have an anti-Semitism problem. Dan Henninger, one of the editors of the Wall Street Journal. The party never expected Jew hatred to be a feature of its coalition. Now it is. After the House last week overwhelmingly passed a resolution condemning Hamas for its attack, New Jersey Democrat Josh Gottheimer wrote on social media that the 15 Democrats who didn't vote for the measure were despicable, quote, despicable and do not speak for the party. Mr. Gottheimer was only half right. Those 15 members from progressive constituencies may in fact represent the Democratic future. The party of Franklin D. Roosevelt has an anti-Semitism problem. This week, progressive activist groups released a Gaza 2024 statement asserting that they won't vote for Joe Biden if he does not end U.S. support for Israel's brutal war in Gaza. The announcement offers background on Israeli ethnic cleansing and genocide in Gaza. This would be like the Nazis saying the Jews or the Allies were intending on genocide of the German people because of the bombings in Germany. Not that the Germans intended genocide against the Jews. The Jews and the Allies intended genocide against the Germans. Things have really gone downhill since World War II in terms of truth and a moral compass in the Western world. An open letter this week from 100 Columbia professors called the Hamas massacre a military response by people who had endured crushing and unrelenting state violence from an occupying power. 100 Columbia professors. Wow. That's really something. An open letter from Columbia University and Barnard College faculty in defense of robust debate about the history and meaning of the war in Israel/Gaza. Catherine Frank, professor of law. Rashid Khalidi, professor of modern Arab studies. Gray Tuttle, professor of modern Tibet. Jack Halberstam, professor of the humanities. James Shamus, professor of professional practice, School of the Arts. This is really something. Wow, I'm looking at it. I mean, this is, and they're all in the social studies arenas. I don't see anybody in the anthropology, no kidding, anthropology. Wow. The sick world of academia. Because the Democrats now consider Muslim Americans an important part of the party's voting coalition, meetings were held this week at the White House with Muslim leaders. Mr. Biden, in his national address last month, spoke at length against Islamophobia. Really, who has more to worry about on a campus these days? A Muslim student or a Jewish student? A Muslim student or an Israeli student? Just asking. Islamophobia. Anti-Israel protesters paraded in front of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's house in San Francisco last Saturday evening. Let's revisit the subject of false equivalence. By the way, Dan Henninger is not a Jew, just for the record. Not that it should matter, but such is the sick world in which we live. The Hamas massacre of some 1,400 Israelis, described in media reports as the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Readers of this column do not need this summary, but what is going on now among the American left requires it. The Jewish Holocaust ran from 1933 to 1945. The Nazis collected and sent Jews to 23 main concentration camps. So he gives this the history. It's sad that you have to. One reason the U.S.'s greatest generation is called the greatest is that it includes thousands of American GIs who helped liberate the concentration camps. There was a time when most American school children had a functioning knowledge of the Holocaust and the camps. No longer.